Hey guys, it's SGT Nickel, and today I'm going to be quickly cleaning my Remington 870. This is a Remington 870 3-inch Express, but this video goes for any kind of Remington 870. They're all the same. So the first thing I'm doing here is I'm going to take off this cap. This shotgun is unloaded. Safety check, action's open. You're going to take your barrel off just by taking it off like that. So it's going to sit down. You're going to push your button to slide your port for the ejection. You're just going to take it apart just by pulling it out. Bolt's going to sit out. The bolt carrier is going to sit out in your slide. Basic tools you're going to need: your hammer, a punch, choke key, toothbrush, a rag, and some cleaner. This happens to be Hops number 9. You can use any kind of oil that's basically good for cleaning guns, like lightweight oil. If it's good enough for cleaning a bike chain, it's good enough for cleaning a gun, and vice versa. So yeah, this piece, you're going to take it, turn it halfway till the track comes out. This piece sits here. You're going to take your spring, and then the other piece that comes out in here, and the little track you need to find, and it just drops out when you find it. Can be tricky. Just comes out like that. So what you're going to do is you're going to just give this barrel a quick spray. Spray inside, spray the bolt, spray the body, spray the spring a little teeny bit. You can spray inside your tube. I'm not going to. I've already cleaned this part. And run your snake through the tube. You will want to clean out all inside here. The best thing to do with your trigger grouping is take your punch. You got these two little marks on the sides here. You're just going to take your punch and push in on them. If you can't push them with your hand, which I find sometimes tricky, what you just do is just set your punch on it and lightly tap with the hammer. Just like so. And then you want to pull them out. If you can't pull them out, push them more with the punch until they come out. And they just come out like that. And then your trigger grouping drops out. This just sits down. Now this, if you accidentally pull your hammer and it goes boom, and this thing's flopping around, it's going to be hard putting it back together. So what I recommend is just grab that hammer, pull it back till it clicks, and just leave it like that. This area, you'll want to take your toothbrush and just clean it, brush it down. If you see some areas that are really dry, you might want to drop a little bit of oil on it. Air compressor it out if you want. I find the drier this is, the better it is. You don't want to have a bunch of oil in there. You get powder residue building up, and it just ends up gumming up inside there and causing problems. So the drier this is, the better. Okay, the bolt, you just want to spray that down, give it a wipe down. You can take your toothbrush, get in some of those areas where it's hard, clean around the extractor. The extractor is important. You want to make sure that's clean so it's free. You want to be able to wiggle it back and forth. It's just a little hook that helps take out your empty shell. You got a little button here that pushes your firing pin. You want to make sure that's got a lot of spring and still it's not, when you push it in, it stays in. Things like that. If the firing pin's stuck and you slam your action closed with a shell inside the breech, it could cause a slam fire and actually go off without you intentionally shooting. So it's good to have your firing pin really clean. Next thing is your bolt body. I sprayed that. I'm just drying it off now. You really want all your parts good and dry before you shoot, or you just end up with more buildup of gunk and stuff like that. Next thing you do is you clean out this with the toothbrush. That's just the breech of the shotgun. And then I take a rag and I just wipe that. And that just gets some of the powder residue out of the little nooks and crannies inside this barrel here. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to drop this weight for my bore snake down the barrel. And I'm going to pull it through. Like so. Now you can use a bore brush and a rod and all that. I just like tube snakes for shotguns. They have a wire brush and your buffer all in one. And when you clean it, you want it really shiny in there, so when you look through it, it looks like that. It's just really reflective. And that's a clean shotgun. And now you take out your choke. I ran the bore snake through. Now you take the choke out. Never run a bore snake through with the choke out. You'll end up putting a bunch of crud down on the threads, and it'll be bad when you put the choke back in. So you run the bore snake through first, then you pull your choke out and you clean the choke. I just find it works a lot better that way. And then to clean the choke, we ran the bore snake through it. You can always run it through again, just through the choke if you want, but I'm really clean. I'm not going to worry about it. Just give it a wipe down. On the threads of the choke, you can always take a toothbrush and just give it a good little brushing. And then you slide her back in and put your choke back in there. I find it's best when you take parts out just to put them back in if you can. It leaves less clutter on the table, and it's a little easier when you put everything back together. If you have guns with lots of parts, I find it can get confusing too. So try and take it out in order to how you're going to put it back if you don't know how the gun really goes. But anyway, so this piece, you just wipe these down. These are just the parts of the inside of the tube feed, basically the magazine. The spring, you can give it just a light little pull. That's just to give back some of the tension you might have lost when it was sitting with shells in it. But you don't want to distort it. Don't pull it out all the way. And same goes for this piece. You just give that a wipe down with the rag. Just a nice little clean. And then you put it back together. So we're going to take this. We're going to drop this in here. Just follow the track, and I like to give it a half turn, just so it doesn't fall back out. It made it harder taking it out in the future, but it's okay. It'll work. Well, this always goes back. You want the teeth facing outwards, because as you can see, you don't want it to sit like this. You don't want it to sit like this. What you want is to follow in there, and you turn it halfway, and it's going to chase back out and stop. And you want that to sit like that. On here are little teeth that are going to grab this when I thread this on. And what that does is just help stopping it from threading back on when you're firing. So it's important. Now we're going to put the trigger grouping back in. This just drops into place. You just put her in, and you want to line up your holes. So you just line up these two holes that are right there. You want to line the holes up so your pegs can fall in. The front one's the small one. The rear one is the fat one. And now if you don't want to scar up your gun, throw a rag over it, just like that. You're going to take your hammer and just drift them back into place. Just like that. And then I find with the punch, just give it a little push. You can always put a rag on the punch if you want, and it just helps snug them back. It just helps put it just into place. There. And it just makes it flush. That way it doesn't go anywhere. So that's back together. Trigger group's in. Now we're just going to take your pump slide. Just going to set this here. Put that like that. Put our bolt body there, bolt carrier with the notch facing back. You can't really get this wrong because it sits on the rail only one way anyway. So that just sits there, and then you put your bolt carrier, you put your bolt on the bolt carrier, and the extractor's facing my hand. The extractor's facing that way. It's this little hook here, right there. And then I'm going to try and close it in. It'll only go that far. There's a little tab here you got to grab that's on the action side. It's got to lift this up slightly, and it's right here. And it's going to click. And I'm going to actually get this in a tiny little bit more. It only goes that far, because there's one on this side too. It's the opposite side. Now you got to push this. Oops, I messed up. Okay, there, that goes. And then you have to go like that. And now it drops into place. Now you push this button right in front of the trigger guard. That button opens all the way. Now you can close this. If you want, you put your cap on, and now this is ready for storage. That opens, closes, opens, closes, opens, doesn't matter. This you can put away. Stores away in a very small bag, whatever. Go backpacking, go camping, and it's just smaller, more compact, so you don't have to have a full-size gun. But if you want to put it away, the full-size gun, another option, just open your action, drop your barrel in. I like to just ever so slightly angle it, and then guide it over, close it like that, thread it back together, and our gun is back together. Now you can close it, pull trigger, open, close. Seems to be working fine. I'd be okay shooting this at the range, so I just closed it. It's unloaded, but if I pull the trigger, the hammer's primed. Now the reason I do this is with this trigger lock that Remington sends, it's basically tamper-proof. A kid can pick this gun up, and they can only put some in the tube, but they cannot put one in the chamber. You can't pull the trigger. The button's blocked, so you can't even open it. So it's extremely safe, very anti-tamper, and yeah. So that's basically the Remington 870, all 870s. It's the takedown, cleaning, and reassembly, and also different ways to store it. So hope that was intriguing. I'm going to put this away now, and thanks for watching my video. Hope that was helpful.